So, I'm back on the game again, renewed my supply pass, and I did something that goes against the original plan that I made for going for a super break team. However, I'd like to explain it real quick and give you guys an update on the account. So, I came back to the game a little bit ago after taking a decent break off it again because I'm just not inclined to play this game every day. But now that I am back, I decided to pull for a Venturine. Now, some of you may be asking, why was it the original plan to go for Fugue and Firefly? Well, it's very simple. With the new leaks, we now have Remembrance, Aglaya, who is Lightning, as well as Herda. Now, with these leaks came more leaks on who their optimal teammates will be. And for Herda, her optimal teammates are Jade and Robin. Now, there's an issue there for me where I don't have Jade and my Robin is already on my Fei Xiao team. And people have been saying that Herda is Acheron tier. However, that doesn't mean anything since Fei Xiao is also Acheron tier, if not arguably better. So, because of that, it's just like, why would I pull for Herda, get a worse built team, like worse optimal team, because I have a Venturine now, making her stronger, when I could just get like a new support or something else instead, right? So because of that, I have decided that I want to see what Aglaya does. Now, I haven't gone all in on her yet, of course, since there are currently only minor text leaks and there are no gameplay leaks until the next patch begins. So because of that, I'm still waiting on my decision but for who I'll pull as my DPS, whether it be Boot Hill or whether it be Aglaya. Now, the reason for this is I'm probably going to pull for Sunday instead of Fugue. Now, there's a big reason for this, which is that Sunday fits in a Boot Hill team. And because of this, I have the option to either go with a break/super break Boot Hill team that has Sunday, or I can put Sunday on a summon DPS team. So this gives me more options than if I were to go for Fugue, and in my opinion, Fugue has worse value than Sunday anyways. Sunday is a lot more future-proof since he's part of a new archetype. So because of that, I just don't really have much interest in pulling Fugue anymore. I had hope that they'd add something to her ult to make her more appealing for super break teams, but they just didn't, right? Like, I've seen a few theory crafters out there and like people who analyze the numbers saying that the ult not doing much isn't really an issue and that she's already a really decent buff for the super break team. But the issue is, if you have Boot Hill, I'm gonna be honest, you have zero reason to go for Fugue. Like, that's just my opinion. But unless you're running like complete hyper carry, no sustain, then I just don't see why you would pull for Fugue. Because in my opinion, Fugue wouldn't replace Harmony Trailblazer, and Fugue wouldn't replace Ruan Mei. And if you're having Sunday on that team to give your Boot Hill more turns, like, this is what I mean, right? Like, you see where I'm getting at? It's not exactly like she's exactly necessary, and even if she is like a decent upgrade over Harmony Trailblazer overall for a Boot Hill team, which personally I'm not completely sure of because I haven't really been paying all that much attention, the thing is, she just isn't necessary, right? Like, this is the biggest problem. Like, current Boot Hill at decent relic investment with an already optimal team is already shredding through like every single content except for Pure Fiction. So because of that, I just don't see why you would ever pull for Fugue when Sunday is a new limited harmony. This is a big thing, right? Limited harmonies have the highest value in the game, and then his value goes even higher because he is part of a new archetype. He is the only harmony that is targeted towards this new archetype that is coming out in the 3.x patches. So you could pull for Sunday, then pull for Boot Hill, and then if at some point you just get tired of Boot Hill or want to put him on another team, you put Sunday on a new, meta DPS that's summon type, and he fits perfectly, right? He has a lot more freedom in meta teams, he has a lot more value overall, making Fugue not that promising, honestly. Now, what made Fugue so promising to me before all these leaks came out was mainly the fact that she was fire. right? Because this meant you could run Fire Lingshaw, Fire Firefly, and Fire Fugue, meaning you'd have 3 fire characters and 1 character who implants fire weakness on all enemies. Like, that just sounds like a recipe for just absolute demolition. But Fugue, because her ult is just complete ass and her super break multipliers just aren't anywhere near as good as Harmony Trailblazers, it isn't anywhere near as promising as I originally suspected. Now, maybe other people saw this coming, but I didn't. I truly thought that Firefly was going to benefit the most, but instead Rappa and Boot Hill benefited the most. But Boot Hill, honestly, it's arguable whether Fugue or Sunday is more important on a Boot Hill team. So because of that, I just don't care for her anymore, right? Like, she's not necessary in any of the new meta teams. And to be honest, even though her design is very cool, her animations are kind of a downer for me, right? Like, maybe this is different for other people, but her animations aren't anything special. And because of her ult just being basically useless, like, all it's really used for is for breaking through toughness bar, I just don't really care, right? Like, she's Nihility, and her ult just doesn't add anything that's Nihility related. It doesn't make any sense to me what they were thinking. It's just a useless ult, basically, right? I've seen a lot of people arguing, oh, but she already has all these other buffs in her kit. But the problem is that Harmony Trailblazer and Ruan Mei together already make up more than that. Like, in my opinion, if you have, like, actually, I'll say this. If you have, like, an E1 Ruan Mei, I'd say it's honestly better to just get E1 Ruan Mei than have Fugue on your team alongside Harmony Trailblazer. That's just my opinion. However, I know, of course, there are some people who don't want Eidolons and instead want new characters. So that's completely understandable as well. But honestly, in my opinion, getting a Ruan Mei E1 Eidolon is probably more important than getting Fugue, considering Ruan Mei fits in a lot more teams than Fugue does. And in my opinion, she's still like one of the most important break characters that you want on your team. So because of all of this, I've decided that I'm going for Sunday instead of Fugue, and instead of Firefly, if I go for a break team, I'll go with Boot Hill. And if I don't go with a break team, I'll go with Lightning Remembrance Aglaia. So either way, I win. I get a new limited Harmony that is extremely meta and really cool. I actually really liked Sunday's animations because I never saw them prior because I never looked at them before. But I did go on YouTube recently and see a few runs, and I like them a lot more. As well as Boot Hill. Honestly, Boot Hill was in this story quest as I was doing it, and even though I didn't fight anyone, he just has such a sick design, man. He might have my favorite design in the entirety of the game. And in terms of like ult animation and just combat, bro, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just the fact that he has a gun and he's a cowboy. Maybe I'm just a sucker for that, right? But I absolutely am in love with it. And honestly, I'd much rather get Boot Hill in terms of gameplay than Firefly. Don't get me wrong, Firefly is a lot simpler and easier to play. However, Boot Hill just looks more fun, right? More fun is really all that matters to me in this game. So yeah, quick update on my account and what I've been doing. I pulled for Aventurine for my Fei Xiao team, and I can now use like a Lingshaw or Huo Huo on any future other meta team, since there won't be many preservations or sustains coming out in the 3.x patches. And now I will be getting Sunday, so that I can either go with a Boot Hill team as my second team, or I'll get Aglaia, right? I'm still not sure which one I want more. I'll see when Aglaia's animations come out, and as well as her damage numbers comes out. However, I can't wait personally. I really am interested in Aglaia way more than I am Herda, since I can't really go for Herda. I'd just be losing out on a Robin on my Fei Xiao team, making my Fei Xiao team weaker, and honestly, I just don't want that. So yeah, have a good day, have a good night, and peace.